Okay, on this video we're going to do 4, 5, and 6. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this and write it as -4 plus sine of 4 theta is equal to -4 plus radical 2 over 2. You could multiply everything by 2. There's lots of things you could do, but I'm going to divide that 2 into both of those. And that's going to allow this -4 and this -4 to cancel out if I add 4 to both sides. So I end up with the sine of 4 theta is equal to radical 2 over 2. Radical 2 over 2, if you look on your unit circle, is going to be at 45 degrees. So 45 plus 360k is going to be equal to 4 theta. Now I normally put the 4 theta first. It doesn't matter where it goes. Then sine is positive here and here, so also 135 degrees plus 360k is equal to 4 theta. So now I'm going to divide by 4. You do not do anything to that 4 theta until you get rid of the sign. By looking at the unit circle, you are doing the inverse sign. Or if you take your calculator and do inverse sign of radical 2 over 2, you have to figure out what degree gives you radical 2 over 2 before you can deal with the 4 theta. Once you get rid of the sign and you figure out what degree you're working with, then you deal with the 4 theta. So now I'm ready to divide everything by 4. And so 45 divided by 4 is 11.25. I need more room here. Hold on. So that gives me 11.25. And then 360 divided by 4 would be 90. 360 divided by 4 is 90. So plus 90k, and that's going to be equal to my theta. So I start my process. I've got 11.25 as my first answer. And then I'm going to add 90 to that. And I get 101.25. And I add 90 to that, and I get 191.25. And I add 90 to that, and I get 281.25. And if I add 90 to that, I'm going to be too big. So those are my 4 answers that comes from 45 degrees. Then 135 divided by 4 gives me 33.75. 360 divided by 4 is 90k. And 4 theta divided by 4 is theta. And that's what we're looking for, is theta. So we got theta alone. So then 33.75 plus 90 is going to be 123.75. Add 90 again, and you get to 13.75. And if you add 90 again, you get 303.75. And then if you add 90 again, you get a number that's too big. So this makes sense. We had a 4 theta, so we should have 4 times as many answers, and we do. We have 8 answers. So that's how you do number 4. Number 5, you need to start by subtracting 2 from both sides. So you're going to have -1 is equal to the cosecant of theta plus 60. Okay, cosecant, oops, can't see that. Cosecant is 1 over the sine. So first of all, I like to have my trig function on the left. So I'm going to just move that -1 over. Think of it like that. That just looks better to me. Cosecant is 1 over the sine. So if cosecant is -1, sine is the reciprocal of -1. So it's still -1 because this is -1 over 1. So sine technically would be the reciprocal of that, which is 1 divided by -1, which is still -1. So we need to find where the sine of some angle is equal to -1. Well, that's only one place. That's 270. That's what theta plus 60 equals. So theta plus 60, oh, sorry, you can't see my picture. I'm zoomed in, so you can't see it all. So the only place sine is equal to -1 is at 270. You can get that from your unit circle, or you can do inverse sine of -1 in your calculator, making sure that you're in degrees. Then that means theta plus 60 has got to equal 270. Subtracts, and you don't need to worry about the plus 360k because you don't have a 2 theta or a 3 theta or a theta divided by 5, there's nothing multiplied or divided by that theta. So you can just subtract 60 and know that that's your only answer. So 210 degrees. Okay, let's look at number 6. We're going to start by adding 1 to both sides. So the cotangent of theta plus 135 is equal to positive 1. So tangent and cotangent, well, let's do that. Tangent and cotangent are reciprocals. So if cotangent is 1, tangent is the reciprocal of 1, which is still going to be 1. Tangent is 1 at the 45 degrees, because tangent is opposite over adjacent. So you can look at your unit circle, but I know tangent is going to be 1 in that quadrant and in that quadrant, where it's 1, 1, radical 2. So theta plus 135 must equal 45 degrees, because this happens at 45 degrees. And this is at 225 degrees. So theta plus 135 could equal 225. So we need to subtract 135, 45 minus 135. So I get negative 90. Again, we're looking for stuff in between. Like technically this is plus 360K. So if I subtract 135 over and I get negative 90 plus 360K, then, and because when we subtract, we don't subtract it from the 360 also. When you subtract equations, you know, you only subtract it from one place. When you multiply or divide, you have to do it to everything. So when you subtract a number over a degree, you just do it to the degree. You leave the 360K alone. So negative 90 plus 360K is 270. So that's my first answer. And then this is plus 360K also, but we're not going to need it because when we take 225 minus 135, we get something between 0 and 360. So 270 and 90 are my two answers on number 6. Okay?